Dear students, welcome to today's English class. I hope all of you are doing well. I also hope that you are watching the videos uploaded in our websites by your teachers. In today's session, I will try to discuss about passive, its function and usage in English language. Let's begin our today's session. Changing sentences, active and passive. Here is the learning outcome. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to tell about different types of sentences, differentiate active sentence from passive, change the form of active sentence to passive, or you will also be able to change the form of passive form of sentence to active, change the meaning of sentences, and most importantly, your writing skill will be improved. What is the passive voice? Function of passive voice. The passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action rather than the person or object that performs the action. So we use passive voice when we don't want to show who has performed an action or what has performed an action. Rather, we want to show interest in the person or object that experienced something. In other words, the most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. In our daily life, we use many passive form in Bangla language, like রাস্তাটা সম্প্রতি মেরামত করা হয়েছে, বাড়িটিতে নতুন করে রং লাগানো হয়েছে, আমার বাগানে নতুন ফুল ফুটেছে. In this way, we actually use passive voice in Bangla language every day. Now look at the examples. The passive voice is used frequently. We're interested in the passive voice, not who uses it. Since we are not interested to mention who use passive voice, we have not mentioned the doer or the person who performed this action, that passive who used passive voice. It is not mentioned. In the same way, the house was built in 1654. And our interest is in the house, not in the person who had built that house. In the same way, the road is being repaired. We are interested in the road, not the people who are doing the road, repairing, who are doing the repairing. This particular sentence can be written in this way, like the road is being repaired by the local government authority, or the road is being repaired by the chairman. But actually, we don't want to mention who is repairing the road. That's why we used passive form, and we omitted the person who is doing the task. Sometimes we use the passive voice because we don't know or not want to express who performed the action. I noticed that a window had been left open. My concern is about the window left open, and I don't want to know, or I don't want to tell who had left the window open. In the same way, every year thousands of people are killed on our roads, and I don't want to mention that thousands of people are killed on our roads by road accidents or reckless driving. That's why I use passive voice, and I don't mention the name of the person or object. In the same way, all the cookies have been eaten. I don't want to mention who have eaten the cookies, and my car has been stolen. And I don't want to mention my car has been stolen by Mr. XYZ. So I hope you have understood why uh, we don't mention, we don't express who performed the action. That's why there will be cases when we don't want to express who performed the action. The passive voice is often used in formal text. Switching to active voice will make your writing clear and easy. I know that passive voice is often used in formal text, and passive voice, active voice makes you writing clearer and easier. And now look at this example. A Hard Day's Night was written by Beatles. Beatles wrote A Hard Day's Night. So the second one, that is active, uh, gives a clearer idea, I think. So in the same way, Spielberg directed the movie E.T., My Father Built the House. But whenever we transform these two sentences into passive, uh, uh, these two sentences, the passive form of those sentences won't give clearer idea. Like the movie E.T. was directed by Spielberg. This house was built by my father. So it is better to we had better say my father built this house instead of this house was built by my father. We make the passive voice using the verb be plus past participle. So this is the structure, verb be plus past participle, and we start sentence with the object. So whenever we change active sentence into passive, uh, the object of active sentence will be the subject and it will be there at the beginning. Now look at the sentence below. Amir likes traveling. Amir subject likes verb and traveling is the object. And the passive form of this sentence, traveling is the subject of the passive voice, which is the object of active voice, is now the subject of passive voice. And be, verb be is used since traveling is third person singular. That's why you use is. And like is the past participle of the form verb like, and by preposition is there before Amir. So Amir is subject. And since we know who likes traveling, that's why Amir is mentioned. And before Amir, we used preposition. So object will be subject of your passive voice, and there will be the verb, and the main verb will be past participle. And after that, there will be by preposition. In most of the cases, there will be by, and other preposition can also come like to or at or in. And after that, we'll have to mention the subject of active sentence. So when we change a sentence from active into passive, we bring object of the active sentence at the beginning. So you see that traveling, the object, traveling, that is the object of active sentence, is now brought at the beginning of the passive sentence. Remember, it is not always necessary to add who or what did the action. It's not necessary to mention who or what did the action. The way I said that আমার বাগানে নতুন ফুল ফুটেছে, or বাড়িটিতে সম্প্রতি নতুন করে রং লাগানো হয়েছে. In this way, my flight is cancelled, and my concern is about the cancellation of my flight, not by whom or what. This sentence can be said like that my flight is cancelled by the airline authority, my flight is cancelled by the airport authority, okay, in this way, but I don't want to mention. Second sentence, the third Karnataka bridge was inaugurated yesterday, and it is not mentioned in the sentence that by whom inaugurated, by whom. This sentence can be like this: inaugurated yesterday, inaugurated by the prime minister yesterday, inaugurated by the MP, local MP yesterday in this way, you can say. But I don't want to mention this, and actually I don't feel that it is not necessary. So if it is not necessary, we will not mention the doer. In the same way, English is spoken all over the world. We know that all over the people speak English all over the world. So we don't want to mention. We know it. That's why it is not necessary that English is spoken all over the world by the people. It is not necessary to mention by the people. So you see that there will be some cases in your exam or in your exercise that you will have to omit that subject in your passive form. The subject will be omitted when you will change active sentence into passive. So here is an example sentence: Mir composes beautiful poems every day, and this particular sentence is transformed into passive. The first three is present form, present simple, present continuous, and present perfect. And then comes past simple, past continuous, past perfect, then future simple and future continuous. And last two examples are present conditional and past conditional. Now look at the structure. Subject, that is Mir subject in active sentence, Mir subject composes verb, beautiful poems object. So beautiful poems, that is the object of active sentence, has now been placed at the very beginning. Subject. So it is now the subject of passive voice. Beautiful poems. And of course, beautiful poems is a plural. That's why be verb is used are, and then main verb past participle composes, composed, then by preposition by, then object, and rest of the part everything. So you see, look at the structure. You see, beautiful poems remained the same. Then past participle remained the same. Means everything remains same, but only be verb, the conjugated form of be verb, is changed a little bit because of tense. When it is present perfect tense, there it is have been. When it is simple past, that is where. There's a past form of are, and were being in had been, and when it is future will be, future continuous will be being. So you see that subject, past, main verb, and other things remain the same. Only be verb is changed. Passive voice with infinitives. The infinitive passive voice is used after modal verbs and other most verbs, normally followed by an infinitive. He can drive the car. So can is a modal. That's why instead of using the be verbs, different we have got different be verbs, am, is, or, was, were, but we are not using different form. We are using only be, since the main there is modal before the main verb. So he can drive the car can be driven by him. In the same way, you must wake up at 6 in the morning. You must be woken up at 6 in the morning. But here she wants to be invited to the party. This is the infinitive form. She, subject, wants, verb, and to is the infinitive. And since to is there, and that's why we used be. We use be. In the same way, I expect to be surprised. You may be disappointed. You may be disappointed. These are the infinitive passive voice. Passive voice with gerunds. Gerunds are often used after preposition and verbs normally followed by a gerund. Look, children are excited about being taken to the zoo. Children are excited about being taken to the zoo. And the infinitive form is that children are excited to be taken to the zoo. Most film stars hate being interviewed. This is the gerund form. and this is the infinitive. Most film stars hate to be interviewed. Poodles like being pampered. Gerund form. Poodles like to be pampered. Infinitive form. So most of the exercises you will not find this sort of examples. You will find examples from models and different tenses actually. So I think you will be able to change active sentences into passive and passive sentences into active correctly. Thank you. Hope to see you again in the next session. Till then, Allah Hafiz.